So I decided to find out what games on PS3 in the early days of the PS3 never got any trophies. So the PS3 launched in late 2006 during the holiday season, and trophy support was actually added in summer of 2008. So only some games got the trophy support, and then trophies weren't actually mandatory until 2009. Some dev studios went back and added a trophy patch to older games to have the trophy support, but there are still some games that have never gotten any trophies. I actually had a very hard time trying to find good games that still don't have trophies, so this top 10 were really, I'm really pushing it to put it on this list, but it still kind of makes sense. So here are the top 10 games, starting with number 10, that don't have any trophy support. Number 10 is Call of Duty 4 Modern Warfare. And this game, while it is kind of a cop-out because honestly most games have gotten trophy support at this point, there's only a handful that have not. And Call of Duty 4, the original one on PS3, never got trophies. I know there's a remastered of Call of Duty 4 for the campaign, and that has trophy support, and I got that platinum trophy, but not for COD 4. And I always, during the time before the remastered came out, I always wish that game had trophies so I can go back and replay. And I always did go back and replay old games, but it's just nice to have trophies to try to do something different. So number 9 is actually Naruto Ultimate Ninja Storm. So during the PS2 era, it was heavily dominated by some of the best Dragon Ball Z games. That era just had banger after banger after banger, but the PS3 didn't really have all that great games of Dragon Ball Z. But what was really popular during this time was definitely Naruto, and this is the beginning of an incredible franchise for the Naruto series, and the first one did not get any trophies. Alright, number 8 is Heavenly Sword. Now this game is probably the least popular game on this list, but when the PS3 first came out, there weren't that many games coming out. So anytime we saw an exclusive coming out for the PS3, like Heavenly Sword, and watching the trailer and seeing some of the gameplay, it looked pretty cool, and just next gen, it was one of the few ones coming out, so a lot of people were hyped for this game, not knowing it wasn't going to be the best game when it came out, but it was still pretty good, and it never got any trophies. Alright, number 7 is Lost Planet Extreme Condition. So this game was just incredibly cool looking on the trailer and the gameplay. It had such a unique atmosphere. Not a lot of games went for the frozen tundra vibe. And it was one of those games where I always wanted to get into. But, as a kid, I only had so many options. So maybe one day I would like to go back and play this one. I mean, just look at that cover art. The game just looks so cool. Number 6 is Spider-Man 3. Now, a lot of people don't like movie tie-in games, but if you guys don't remember, Spider-Man 2 on the PS2 was one of the best games on the platform. It was incredible, and it's not that different from the new Spider-Man that we have on PS4. So they tied in this game with the third movie, and it was immensely popular. I mean, this game sold millions upon millions of units. One of the biggest games for sure, and it also never had any trophy support. Alright, number 5 is Ratchet & Clank Future Tools of Destruction, and with an added little bonus of Quest for Booty, the other game that it was basically a mini sequel that came out after this game. And both of these never had any trophy support, which is actually very surprising just because it's from Insomniac Games, the developer that makes a bunch of exclusives for Sony over the years until they acquired them. But it's just surprising that they never went back and added trophy support for this game. It's actually one of my favorite game series of all time. I love Ratchet & Clank, and I would just love to go back and play this game again in the future. Alright, next up is number 4, and we have Elder Scrolls Oblivion. I remember a Christmas morning sitting next to my cousin that just got an Xbox 360, and he was playing Oblivion for the first time right when it came out, and it was one of the coolest RPGs at the time. It was just amazing to see how much depth that world had. And when it came out for the PS3, it also did not have any trophy support, and it never got put back in after the fact either. So this game actually was never that popular on the PS3. I think it was much more popular on the Xbox 360. So it didn't sell that many units on the PS3 itself, but it's definitely one of the best RPGs ever made for sure. Alright, number 3, we have Resistance Fall of Man. This is one of the launch titles for the PS3. Huge game. Almost everybody that got a PS3 played Resistance. since the PS3 didn't have that many games when it came out. They also never got any trophy support. Made by Insomniac Games, and never patched in on trophy support after the fact, like the Uncharted game, the first one. So it was just a really cool game, something very different, a bit more mature coming from Insomniac Games, so it was very cool. And I wish I can go back and play this game. I kind of wish they would remake Resistance at least once. Number 2 is Motorstorm. So this game, I don't know if you guys remember, actually came with so many PS3s at one point. So many people have played this game just because it came with their console. It was such a unique racing game where you had all of these different vehicles all in one track, and it was just so fun to play online, go through the little campaign, and I loved this game. It was such a cool next gen racing game, and man, I wish this game had trophy support to go back and do fun little challenges like that. And finally, number 1 is Assassin's Creed, one of the biggest franchises right now of all time, and the very first game is the only one that does not have any trophy support. And it would have been so cool to go back and go for the trophies on this game. I know this one isn't exactly one of the best in the series, but it's the one that started everything, right? It's the one set in the Middle East with Altair, one of the most legendary characters, and it's such a cool setting. It was such a cool idea of a game in general. So this one is also one of the most purchased, copies sold games on here, so definitely the biggest well-known title here without any trophy support. And so that's that. Those are basically the top 10 games that I could find that don't have any trophy support. And honestly, so many games have trophies now, or have trophy support, or has gotten a remaster and gotten trophies, so that's why it was kind of hard to put Call of Duty and Naruto on that list. But at least the top 8 for sure are games that just never got any trophy support. Now, with the PS5, they're starting to bring back a lot of the PS3 games, and rumors of emulation coming to the PS3. Sorry, coming to the PS5 with PS3. With a lot of those games, trophy support. So there is hope for some of these titles here that I mentioned, that they will come back with some trophies, and that'll be really cool. And for the people that sticked around for the end of the video, my next Platinum Journey video is going to be Assassin's Creed Mirage. I was wanting to get into this game just because I got into the trilogy, right? I played the past 3 Assassin's Creed games. They started this whole mythology series going on, and I'm really into the story now at this point. And I really like the older games, like the Ezio trilogy. And I feel like this game, what I've heard is that they kind of combine the newer trilogy of mythology with kind of the old style of game. So I'm just really excited to try this game out.